Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers!
Greetings, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends. Welcome to Spoiler Sleepover, part of the Nerdcast Network. Join your hosts, Jason, Michael, and Rob, as they bring you on a slash-tastic adventure through cinema. Now, enjoy the show. It will be a real scream of a time.
Sample, 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 sample. Kill, 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 kill his kiss? Kill his kiss.
Kill his kiss.
Welcome back, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends to Spoiler Sleepover. Of course, I'm Jason Michael.
And I'm Rob.
Kiss.
Yeah. If you know what we're talking about at the top of this episode, congratulations. You have decent taste in movies. Yeah, and we're just going to jump right into it. This is our final episode for Winter Horrorland this season. And it's our third to last episode for season 2. That's insane. So yeah, we are talking about an amazing movie. Honestly, I think this is the only time I actually get to say this in the history of life. It's a movie based off of a book that actually did the book justice through and through, and for good reason. But we're talking about 2008's Pontypool today. Winter themed, and one of my favorite countries. So before we jump into our episode about Pontypool, let's jump into a little what's been keeping us up at night. Jason Michael, what's been keeping you up at night?
At this point, I have been getting into the brand new map in Black Ops 6 Zombies. It just came out. It's really good. It's called Citadel de Mor, and it's story-wise. All right, let me preface this by saying, from Cold War, Vanguard, fuck MW3, and now Black Ops 6 Zombies, the story is just who gives a shit, really. The gameplay is tremendous. This is like Cold War on crack, and it's really good. The enemies are great. I love the boss zombies. It's just a lot of fun to go back and play this game and play new shit where it's still like I can hop on with a couple of my friends and just grind out a map. And I got to round 50 solo by myself today, so wahoo.
Shit, yeah, dude.
It started really falling apart in the end, though. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, man, I could do this. And the zombies are like, ha, 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 ha.
Fuck, you can.
Oh, yeah, they became sprinters real quick. But that's pretty much all I've been doing is, besides watching the movies that we've been talking about, I've just been playing Black Ops 6 Zombies.
Dope.
What about you? What are you watching and or playing?
Well, I've been diving into sequel world recently. I watched Smile 2, which was not as good as the first one, but still fun. Okay. I love the Smile creature. I think the creature design is amazing. I love the fact that in the first movie they used practical with CGI to give that awesome, dope effect. Knowing that the entire monster from the first movie is a giant suit is still mind-boggling to me. And so
is it CG now?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
What bothered me more was the reveal. The reveal of the monster in the first movie is awesome. It's horrifying. It's brutal. You know you're going to get it in the second movie, but they just executed it poorly. It almost felt rushed. I understand why they were doing what they were doing, but I don't like it. They used the CGI to have the creature reveal, but once the creature was out, it was practical. But then the creature taking over the main character was CGI, and it wasn't done well. Okay. Aside from that, it's over a 2-hour runtime.
Damn.
Yeah, which I wasn't expecting, and I kind of hope they fix with this third one. And if they don't do that and they keep it at a 2-hour runtime, that their 2-hour runtime is worth the story, because I didn't feel that the story was worth it this time.
That's so far been my biggest with it. I still haven't seen it, but I'm like, you've seen it. You've told me your thoughts. Christine, who back in February, we talked about the Conjuring universe, or at least 1, 2, and 3. And she texted me saying, fucking Smile 2 is so fucked up. But I still haven't seen it. I'm interested to see it because looking at the trailer, I just, comparatively to 1, where I was like, what the fuck is this? And then watching the movie and then feeling some overwhelming feeling of dread.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, when after the smiles are, or whatever has already happened, and she's standing in like her kitchen, and you just see an outline of a person off to the side in the dark. And you're like, I hate this. I hate this. It's not moving. Nothing's happening. We're just lingering on this fucking thing. Please move.
Right.
And the cat, and then the whole like car scene, and the fucking when it shows up in her house as like her therapist, and it calls her on the phone. Fucking Smile 1 was perfect.
Yeah. This one, I'm going to just quote my brother. He said, they repeat all the things that worked in the first one, just with a new story. And that was all he gave me going in. And then once I finished the movie, I was like, I get what he meant. I can't speak for Christine on what she meant by fucked up, but the backstory of the main character in itself is fucked up.
Okay.
The events that happen after she's infected, because it's an infection, not so much. I feel the events in the first one and the almost It Follows feeling that the first movie gave us is lost in the second one. I'm never going to discourage anyone from watching it, just simply because it is a good addition to the story, but the opening is the most confusing thing in the world. And I think that they teased the third movie in the opening, unless I'm missing or forgetting something from the first one, because it does not connect at all in any way, shape, or form to the movie. Nothing
about the cop, nothing about the guy in the prison.
Nope. It just starts, and it's super confusing. And I was just like, I mean, maybe I need to go back. I've watched Smile 6 times and my brain didn't connect anything, so maybe I did forget something, which is very likely, but I don't know. But yeah, anyways,
I think I'll watch Smile 1 tonight, and then I think I'll watch Smile 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, I probably should have rewatched 1 before I dove into this, but I didn't have the time. And then last night, I unfortunately had the displeasure of sitting through the entirety of Beetlejuice.
Oh.
What a steaming pile of waste of film that fucking piece of shit was. Good Lord. Not good. Not needed. Not done well. Just not good. Fucking hated it.
I have not seen it yet because I've got this weird thing. So first off, let me preface it by saying that was my parents' first date, was going to see Beetlejuice.
It's a good date.
So
it's a good movie.
Yeah. Beetlejuice holds a very special place in my heart because of that. Now, as I was kind of talking about with Smile, there's been only a few movies recently that have scared the shit out of me. Like, nothing's been really that great. Everything's been like schlocky remakes and cash grabs. And this is exactly what this one felt like. Like, why did we need a second Beetlejuice? There was leave it open-ended. Leave it like he's still shrunken head sitting in hell's waiting room. Yeah. And don't bring anything else out. And also, I can't be the only one tired of Jenna Ortega anymore. Right. No. I just can't. Like, I forgot she was in Scream 5, so seeing her in Scream 6, it was like, oh, cool, off a Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, but at the same point, it's like, man, she really got thrown into a lot of shit. It's like what they're doing with Timothée Chalamet, and I don't like him either. So,
yeah, I have nothing against Timothée Chalamet. I'm actually
he's
really
got a
excited
punchable
to
face.
see this. Well, yeah, but I'm really excited to see him in this Bob Dylan movie. I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan. So, yeah, no, you and my fiance have that in common. She despises Jenna Ortega.
It's not that I despise her. It's more of it's like when there's a breakout star, people are like, oh, sick, and then just beat him into the ground.
Yeah.
And they put him in everything.
Yeah. I don't despise her or anything. I just don't think she's that great. Like, she's not a good actress. I
will say Wednesday was really, like, her as Wednesday was really good.
Wednesday was
the show,
good. Well, yeah, wouldn't say she was even good as Wednesday. The show as a whole, I actually enjoyed. The one role that I
the
thought
fucking monster from the get-go.
She kicked ass in was X. She's only in like 2 or 3 scenes in that movie, but like she's awesome. And it's funny because every time I rewatch X, I always forget she's in there. And the only reason I remember now is because my fiance reminded me. She was like, "Oh yeah, she's in that movie you like." And I was like, "Which one?" And she was like, "X." And I'm like, "Oh, that's right, she is in that."
Narrow it down, please.
But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, if you're worried about a movie tainting a previous movie and like the memory that you had, don't do it. Especially seeing as there's a specific moment where you find out Beetlejuice's backstory from when he was living.
Nope. Like, yeah. We've already had this conversation about Art the Clown.
Yeah.
It's fucking some weird otherworldly demon being. That's all we need.
Right.
Who the fuck gives a shit about a goddamn Beetlejuice backstory?
Nobody.
No one cared. No one was like, you know what we need? God damn it, we need to move on. Otherwise, I'm going to start yelling. I'm going to yell.
All right. So yeah, I've been in sequel world. Those are the 2 things I've watched recently, other than my shows. So we're going to go on to something that brings us both a lot of joy.
Fun fact, I haven't seen any of the X or Maxine movies.
That's not a fun fact. It's a disappointing fact.
I wanted to bring it out before we moved on. There you go.
You should see them and watch them in chronological order. So watch Pearl first, then X, then Maxine.
That's opposite release order, right?
Correct. X came out first, then Pearl, then Maxine.
Got it.
So if you just watch Pearl, X, Maxine, it's the chronological order of the actual story.
Now, what's your watching order of the Star Wars movies? Anyway, continue.
None. I'm a Trekkie.
Bitch!
I watch Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, fair.
Yeah. I like to.
I was like, we are going to fall out, and then I remembered you're a Trekkie. Yeah,
I'm a Trekkie. Right. I don't like Space Bible. I like to watch Space Politics. It's a lot more fun.
I mean, I suppose space politics are better than real world politics.
Yeah. Hey-o! Real world Bibles. So,
Hey-o!
All right. Well, we just went off on a real crazy tangent.
It's one of the last episodes. We're going. We're
doing great.
Earworm.
Yeah. Here, let me help you pull that thing out of your ear real quick. All right. What has been your earworm for this week?
I am not in the wheelhouse to make the proper judgment here. Dominique, who we talked about the Halloween franchise with, is. Now, she has not yet listened to this album, but I have been listening to it to try and make it sound okay to me. Linkin Park released their newest album since the passing of Chester Bennington in 2017. Now, my brother and I have great memories of playing Crazy Bones in our old house while listening to the Hybrid Theory album.
The fuck is Crazy Bones?
Dude, Crazy Bones are little like plastic like monster figures with like 2 feet where you flick them across the room, and if you hit another one, you get those Crazy Bones. It's like, oh, dude, it's fucking sick. It's like jacks or marbles or something. But
Pogs?
No, dude,
that's Pogs.
It sounds look it up. When we're done here, look up Crazy Bones. They are one of the best fucking things. But like that is one of my favorite memories of Linkin Park and the Hybrid Theory album. I didn't really listen to anything else they ever came out with until One More Light. And then I listened to Mike Shinoda's solo album. But when they released From Zero, their newest album with their newest singer, Emily, I don't remember her last name, but she was from a band called Dead Sarah. Never heard of them. It sounds like Linkin Park, just with a new singer, and that doesn't sound like Linkin Park. I'm going to be the person where it's like, I wanted to see, I was hopeful, I was, but I will say without Chester, it is missing a massive piece, and it does not sound exactly the same. It sounds like they're going for what they used to do, but it's missing that extra something, which is pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get myself to like it. I can kind of play two of the songs on the drums, but it's just very, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm just trying to beat it into my head until I maybe tolerate it, I guess. But that's pretty much what I've been listening to, besides a smattering of, everything else.
Jeez. Yeah.
Listen to Chromacopia again, so that was great.
There you go. Yeah, I was only a fan really of their first album. And I have fond memories of me sitting alone in my bedroom playing the Spawn Game Boy game and listening to the first album. Yeah.
God.
But yeah, no, I mean,
Spawn
it's
Armageddon on the PS2.
I mean, that first album of theirs is perfect. There isn't a bad song on the album. So but I kind of fell off after the second because I just didn't even really like it. But this is just stupid. I mean, there was a lot of people talking about how if Linkin Park wants to keep going, that they shouldn't have a vocalist, that they should tour and have like session vocalists. So
I mean, they kind of did that with their his celebration of life at the Rose Bowl. Like Jonathan Davis was there and Shadows.
Yeah,
fair.
Do that all the time. Oh, hey, we're going to be in LA and like these other West Coast states. Who's out here? Get fucking Chino from Deftones. Get fucking Jonathan Davis back in there. You're over in the Boston fucking area. You get people from the area to step in and make it not Linkin Park, but Linkin Park.
I can't remember what song he did for the celebration, but Jonathan Davis, I was expecting him to do something for that song because it was like, this is fucking perfect. And he didn't. Like, he was Jonathan Davis and someone else, and that someone else took that part, and I was like, this fucking sucks. Yeah. Hang on, I gotta look up the song, but yeah. Oh, so it was One Step Closer. Jonathan Davis was singing One Step Closer, and it didn't even really go into the, like, I don't know. Anyway, that's mine. We have been talking about a lot constantly, so hey, Rob, squiggly thing in your face. Boom. Get squiggled, bitch.
Yeah, get squiggled, bitch. We'll have those stickers soon.
Hell yeah.
I've been keeping it to my December theme of black metal. I've been listening to a band called Worm Shepherd recently.
Earworm Shepherd?
Earworm Shepherd. Oh, look at that.
Hey.
Yeah, they're melodic deathcore. He sings, he screams, he does his deathcore vocals. I can't call it screaming, but yeah, it's really atmospheric and just enjoyable and perfect for this desolate, cold, snowy weather that we're living in. So yeah, I've been really enjoying my black metal ride through December and just kind of keeping into that. So yeah, check out Worm Shepherd if you haven't.
And now, as apparently it's become my thing, and I should actually probably get to recording this. Rob's got a little thing called Creeping It Real.
Yeah, buddy. So, Creeping It Real, I got potentially good news. I'm going to say potentially because we've all seen the Wolfman trailer. We're not going back into it.
Okay. It is getting closer and closer to the time for the Wolfman to come out and to finally get that first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah, answers. You're not wrong. Yeah.
So, Guillermo del Toro has just finished shooting his Frankenstein adaptation.
I forgot about that.
Okay, so there's a set photo that's very confusing. It looks like the entire movie is CGI, like the entire thing. But that's not my Creeping It Real.
Okay.
There's also the Bride movie that's done where Christian Bale plays. I
forgot about that too.
Frankenstein's monster. Okay, so this is the potentially good news. The potentially good news is one of my favorite, one of your pseudo favorite writer, director, producers, James Wan, is taking a swing at the Universal Monsters universe, taking on the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Ooh.
So currently, as of this moment, the only thing that he is attached to is producer. I want to put this out into the universe. My fiance and I have been living on manifesting things and like trying to keep positive mindsets and putting these things out into the universe. And so far, they've been being returned. So all of you suckers out there, myself and Jason Michael included, I want everyone to just put this positivity out into the universe that he is going to write and direct this as well. If James Wan, the writer, director, and creator of Saw, can fucking do Creature from the Black Lagoon,
that's going to be interesting.
Not only will it be interesting, it will be fucked up.
That's fair. I mean, to be completely honest, there was some dark shit in The Creature to begin with. Like, we pretty much see straight up murders or massively brutal inferred murders.
Yep.
And like, there's claw marks, burned creature. This could be tremendous. The whole drowning scene again with the music and is horrifying. We are watching a murder.
James Wan for me he's a roller coaster ride of a writer director. He does some fucking phenomenal movies and then he does some real stinkers. But when he is in love with a project, he puts everything into it and it always comes out well. So here's to hoping that James Wan's Creature from the Black Lagoon is exactly what we deserve in a Universal Monsters reboot. Invisible Man is the best thing we've gotten so far. So, I mean,
fingers crossed about the Wolfman. As of right now, our expectations are really, really low.
My expectations are non-existent. I'm ready for a heaping pile of shit.
I'm starting to go back and tolerate the 2010 remake, even though, by God, that is one of the worst fucking movies on the face of the planet, because I love the Wolfman. Still haven't seen Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
God damn it. All right. Well, that's creeping it hopeful. I'm here for it, dude. I'm definitely here for it. Anything Universal Monsters, really. Again, except for Tom Cruise. The moment they said, and Tom Cruise is the Mummy, I was like, I hate this.
Is the Mummy? Because that would be perfect.
Yeah, and I was like, I hate this.
It sounds... over. He's so short.
Hello, tiny Tom Cruise.
We just kicked him over. It's over. He's fine. We're good.
Shut up.
Just on his back like a turtle on the back of his cell.
Said help. No one wants to help you. No one.
Oh man.
So right. Rob, what are we talking about on this week's episode? Our third to last episode of season 2.
So again, we are talking about 2008's Pontypool. This movie was directed by Bruce McDonald, who you may know and may have recognized the name on your most recent finish of a show you were just watching. He was a director on From.
Really?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. So that actually kind of explains some shit.
Yeah.
Because there's times where I have no fucking clue what's happening in this movie.
It's perfect.
God damn.
The movie was written by Tony Burgess. Now, Tony Burgess is also the writer of the trilogy of books that this movie is based off of one of those stories.
Okay.
So, jumping ahead, the end of the movie, if you waited, there's this really interestingly weird black and white moment where the two main actors are having a conversation. It seems like it's like a old-timey crime moment where they're like talking weird and everything like that.
Yeah, see?
That is a moment from one of the other books. So Tony actually adapted his own book into this movie. And that's why, and I stand by this is one of the most perfect book to movie adaptations ever, because the author of the book fucking made the movie. So
that's good.
Yeah. It's fantastic. If you're interested, the Pontypool Changes Everything is the name of the trilogy of books. So you can find them. I believe the first book came out in 95. So they've been around for a while. But this movie is fantastic. in every way, shape, and form, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so the synopsis for Pontypool reads as thusly. A radio host interprets the possible outbreak of a deadly virus which infects the small Ontario town he is stationed in. I think that is the perfect synopsis.
Better than Santa Jaws. Shark Jaws.
Yeah, I think this is the first. This is really good just because it doesn't give away anything, but gives you just enough. The best part about this, I think, is what I told you. I don't know if you followed and didn't watch a trailer.
Did not.
Okay, good. But I did tell you this is a great movie because you see almost nothing the entire time.
Yep.
And it, for the most part, up until a specific point, it leaves everything to your imagination for a while. And it's done amazingly well, I think. So we are introduced to our main character, Grant Maisie, who's the radio host, driving into work on a snowy day in Ontario, which is every day in Ontario, except for like 1 month a year. So yeah, shout out to my Canadian brethren out there. I love fucking Canada. As a fellow Canadian myself, I love Canada. I fucking love Canada. Hey, that's what it's all about. I have a weird thing for people that say about. Shout out to Kevin Smith. Sorry. But he's on his way into work and pulls over to the side of the road, and a strange lady walks up to his window and knocks on it and then just disappears into a blizzard.
So may I say before this, he did the one thing that I've seen so many people in horror movies do fucking stupidly wrong. Yeah. He's on the phone, I think, with his manager, and he throws his phone down, and it lands in like the passenger footwell, and it starts ringing again. And he looks at it, and we see it. I'm like, oh, cool. He's just going to completely wipe the fuck out because he's going to reach down, drift off the side, hit a pole, hit a truck. No, he slows to a stop and leans down to get it. The most common sense in a fucking horror movie I've ever seen right here.
Yep.
Holy shit. There was a whole other universe that could have happened for him if he just went, oh, God damn it. So much other shit could have happened.
Yeah. Well, so Grant shows up to the radio station ready for his early evening of work.
Yeah, I thought it was like fucking middle of the night, and they're like, good morning. It's like, bitch, what?
Yeah, my assumption
is... driving in at like 2?
Yeah, he's probably going in between like midnight and like 3 a.m. That'd be my guess. Just because back in my day, I had a friend who was actually a radio host in Connecticut. She did the 104.1, used to be the rock station. I have no idea what it is now, but she was a radio host, but she was the overnight radio host. So I would go to the studio sometimes and just hang out with her to keep her company. And her shift was literally 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. when they started the morning commute. And so she'd have a co-host come in. So I'd dip out before anyone else showed up. But I got to meet like all the radio hosts in Connecticut. So
8 a.m. the morning commute?
Yeah. Well, so
I was like, WAAF was like, they'd have a 6 o'clock show. The morning show started at 6.
Yeah.
Because I'd be driving to work and I'd be like, cool, I catch the beginning of this. And I'd catch like maybe the middle.
Yeah. I normally would leave between like 5 and 6 a.m. and just head out just because it was weird. But you see all these like people that you hear their voices and you have no idea what they look like. And then you meet them and you're like, you don't look like your voice at all. It just got weird after a while.
Yep.
But we are introduced to his two, the producer and the manager, all of that. We meet these two fine ladies, Laurel Ann, ex-military, I guess. She saw action in Afghanistan. That is the information we are given about Laurel Ann. And she's the local hero. She was in the parade. You remember her, blah, blah, blah. You're like, great. Yep. No, she's fantastic. But we get these little bits and pieces about the town throughout the movie. We find out there's a missing cat. Mrs.
Honey.
Tripp. Yeah. We got Mrs. Tripp and Roger, who are two local yokels who call. They're regulars, and apparently they're not calling in anymore. They have a eye in the sky. This is one of my favorite characters in the entire movie.
The Sunshine Chopper.
Yeah, the Sunshine Chopper is absolutely hilarious, especially once we find out that it's not Ken. Ken's in a van. Ken's not in a helicopter. I just love the fact that Grant has no idea. Like, how do you not know? You guys live in this area together.
He's playing sounds.
Yeah, he's just driving around in his van playing.
I like when he breaks the facade too. It's like, what are you seeing from up there in the sky? Oh God, I got to drive away. I got to back out of here. It's like,
I got to back out of here. Yeah,
that's
That's
not what a helicopter does.
There's helicopters up flying by me. Like,
yeah,
all these moments, but everything kind of just moves quickly through this. We find out that Grant's he's a shock jock, as they call him. He's out to like kind of rile people up and just start controversy the best way he can in a small town that doesn't have too much going on. By the way, the name of the movie is the name of the town. Should just probably preface to all of that. This takes place in Pontypool, Ontario.
What?
Oh, what? Yeah. So there's a reason for the name. There's also another reason for the name, and it's a British term. So
I didn't pick up on that. I was just lost through most of this movie. I'm going to be completely honest with you. There was some stuff. Yeah, there's some parts where I'm like, okay, I kind of get. What do you mean? What words? Who? What? This child is saying prof or some. What? And then Lawrence and the Arabians show up.
Oh my God, the most racist thing ever.
Yeah, it is.
So racist.
It's not great.
No. And it's funny.
I'm pretty sure they made Lawrence as a terrorist with a bandolier of bullets and everything.
100%. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then I think the other guy has a fucking Uzi too.
Yep.
Yeah. I just repressed that out of my brain real quick because that is ooh.
I did too, especially selling this movie to you, being like, "Oh, it's a really great movie," and I was like, "Why? I forgot this was in this movie." Together,
oh God, he's gonna hate me.
I was just like, this isn't. I take it back. This is a terrible movie. I'm so sorry. No, it's a great movie. There's just that moment where you're like, I don't think this was necessary. I mean, it is, for the fact of like trying to prove, hey, this is a real small town out in the middle of
not a lot going on.
Yeah, just a lot of missing cats and racism. But we get all of these. That musical number is terrible. We get a lot of background into the town itself. We find out right before this terribly racist and terrible music number that there is a riot that has broken out outside of a doctor's office. We're not entirely sure why or what's going on.
Dr. John Mendez.
Yep, Dr. John Mendez. And there are hundreds of people out there, and they actually managed to break into the building, as Ken sees from his quote-unquote helicopter. And we kind of cut away just because the producer is adamant, like, we're not going to like listen to this. It sounds like it's getting worse. We'll come back. We'll, once he's away and he's safe, we'll find out what happened.
Yep.
Then we get the racist fucking moment. And right as that musical number ends, there's one of the girls that's there. She just keeps saying that she can't remember how it ends. That's what I can't remember how it ends. And she's gibbering. And that is our first sign that something is off. Like, we already know by reading the premise of the movie that there is a virus, but we're not sure what it is. And we still aren't at this point either, which is great.
The description of the riot of them like pouring into the building, then exploding out the side, reminded me, it was giving me massive World War Z vibes. Like the tidal wave of like humans. I was like, is this some sort of zombie movie? It kind of feels like it's, in a way, some zombie movie. Some dialect zombies, vocab zombies. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they bring us back to Ken, where he says he's been hearing people chanting in an unknown language, which just brings that crazier. And he's getting away. And at this point, we've already been told that Ken's in a van, but going from the standpoint of a listener to the radio show, this is the moment where we find out that he's not in a helicopter at all.
Yeah.
Because he's stuck, and he says there's people on the road right now, and they're mimicking the sound and motion of windshield wipers, which is, paint that fucking visual in your head. Just imagine you're driving pitch black snowstorm, and there's people in the middle of the road, and they are making the noise of squeaking windshield wipers and just moving side to side. As this is happening, they get a radio, the radio show gets interrupted, and it's somebody speaking in a foreign language, which they translate rather quickly, I have to say. We get that translated quickly. Do you have it in your notes, the translation?
No, I don't, but I know it was basically saying, don't use these words. It attacks the English language. It says like sweetheart, honey, all these terms of endearment. And then at the end, it just goes, do not translate this message.
Oops.
And then Grant is just reading and goes, do not translate. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that, but it's basically the look on his face is, uh-oh.
And it
Why
is,
did I read that?
well, piece it together in case you haven't. Laurel Ann is the one who translated the message.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to find out what happens when you translate that message. And one of those words happens to click.
It also doesn't help because the cat's name is Honey.
Honey.
And also when there's a moment where it's like, all right, I don't know, play something pre-roll or pre-whatever. And then she puts on the recorded story about the cat, Honey. So she's the only one in that room listening to the recording of Honey. The cat has gone missing. Honey is missing, everyone. Look out for Honey. And she's hearing it over and over. It's like, she's fucked.
Yeah.
At that moment when I heard that, I was like,
Uh-oh.
oh no. Her change is so weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like she holds a long note just standing in the hallway.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Laurel Ann and forgive me, I have completely drawn
Cindy,
a blank.
or Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney. Thank you.
It's Sydney because I thought Laurel Ann looked like who played Sydney in the Scary Movie franchise. And I was like, oh, that looks like Sydney. And then he calls one of them Sydney, and I was like, holy shit, really? But nope, other character entirely.
But the two of them are having a conversation, and Laurel Ann starts to slip a little bit, and we're getting that that moment, that callback to the child, like the younger girl that was part of the racist musical number. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, okay. And then we hear a tea kettle going off in the background, and Laurel Ann is mimicking the sound. And it is fucking eerie. Like, I don't give a shit who you are. That moment, I'm like, oh my God, that is uncomfortable.
At the same moment, someone's ass crawling first through a goddamn window. It's like, excuse me, sir, what?
We cut back to, we get to go back to Ken, who has crashed and tried to help at one point, but he is now reporting he's seeing people tear people apart. Sounds like zombies.
He's describing it very vividly, and I'm sitting here going, this is a fucked up radio show, but god damn, my imagination's going wild. Yeah,
and Sydney is like, I don't want to hear somebody die on the air. Like, cut away. Grant's like, fuck this shit, dude. We've got to report this. Like, this needs to be heard.
The more terrifying one that also felt like World War Z is the fact that they were piling on top of a car.
Yeah.
Piles upon piles of people. He hasn't seen the car in 2 hours. It's like a mother and a child in the car. And it's like, what the fuck, dude?
But he sees one of the locals' sons has hurt himself pretty brutally. His arms are fucked. He's mumbling incoherently. Ken hides in a water tower or something along those lines.
A corn silo.
It's a silo. That's right. Yeah. Hides in a silo. And this dude ends up breaking in. Ends up like getting some of the audio, like the noise that he's making. I laugh every time, and I always forget that he says this, but like he's like Grant just cuts away and just at the end of that because he doesn't want to hear it anymore. And he says, that was Ken interviewing a crying baby.
Yeah.
with the last dying breath.
Yeah, what was screaming baby coming out of a child's throat or something like that. And it's like, what the fuck? At first, I thought it was something like he remembered from when he was younger or something, or like some sort of connection, or he was just really fucking freaked out about it. I don't know.
Yeah, Ken had said that it sounded like there was a baby screaming inside his throat. And I was just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and he went really continuous and on with that goddamn description.
Yeah.
It did not stop.
Grant basically loses it at this point. He's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Uh-huh.
And dips out. And
This is so weird.
Both of the ladies stop him and like drag him back in. And as they do that, this is our the first time we get to see anybody outside of these three characters and the weird choir. And
I love hordes, dude.
Yeah.
Love hordes.
Horde of people just book ass at the door.
And they're saying the shit that they were. They're saying it in their voice. They're repeating everything back. And I'm sitting here going, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I will say I wrote that several times in my notes. You keep going. I'm going to count how many times I specifically wrote, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. We get this.
There's one.
Yeah. We get this interesting cut to Grant rattling off a list of people who are dead in the town, I guess, for lack of better words, just simply because it's like a chain reaction of death and murder. It's all this. It's a really cool moment in the film too, just because it cuts to black and white and it's showing these people not dead, but alive. And he's describing each person and how they met their end.
11 times. I wrote 11 times on my one page of notes what the fuck is happening in this movie. Or some iteration of what the fuck is going on. Also, quick moment here, especially when it like zooms in on his face when he's talking about the screaming baby from the throat. Grant to me looks like Willem Dafoe in certain angles.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it's just me.
It might be you. Oh, going back to Beetlejuice. Did you know Willem Dafoe was in that? I didn't.
Oh, yeah. He's got like some weird jigsaw looking face or whatever.
He's missing half his head. But yeah, I mean, I had no idea it was in the movie. The opening credits, I was like, Willem Dafoe's in this? That's fucking awesome. I was just like,
and
the movie sucked dick. It was not good. But this is actually now the moment where Laurel Ann is mimicking the tea kettle. I jumped the gun a little bit there. And this is the sign that
it's part of the new format, baby. Yeah. We're spewing everywhere.
This is the sign. This is the moment. We know she's gone. Like, gone. And it's fucking haunting. And at this moment, somehow, Dr. John Mendez just shows the fuck up. He's just there.
He's just backing in through the window. He's fine.
Yeah, he's just there. And he's a fucking nutter. This dude is bananas. Insane. Certifiably insane. I don't understand. There is a hatred for this dude, which going back to when the mob was attacking, we find out that he was like writing bad prescriptions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they initially think that that's what it is the town's just had enough of his shit. Hundreds of people are like, fuck this guy in particular. Let's go destroy his fucking practice. But no, that's not what's going on at all. The mob starts to break into the building, which is holy fucking shit. Yeah.
Again, they're chanting the stuff that they were just talking about. Like they were having a whole ass argument on the stairs, and the horde is saying those exact things in their voices back to them. Mm-hmm. As my notes clearly state, what the fuck is going on in this movie? So I'm terrified and bewildered.
Yeah. And that's why one of the many reasons why I love this movie so much is it just keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time. I'm going to say this at the end too. My props 100% go out to my brother. I would never have seen this movie if my brother had not introduced it to me when it came out in 2008. He was like, you have to fucking see this movie. And I was like, okay.
Do it now.
He was just like, don't spoil anything for yourself. Just fucking go see this movie. He's like, fuck zombies. That's all I'm going to say is fuck zombies. And I'm like, okay. And then I watched it.
No, that's Warm Bodies, actually.
Hey-oh. That's actually
Gross.
a really good movie too.
I haven't seen the entirety of it.
Leave the silence.
I wasn't expecting that much of a reaction about that. All right, damn. Okay, I guess I'll go watch it.
I had nothing kind to say to you, so I just didn't say anything at all.
Jesus. I mean, it's not as bad as our text conversations yesterday.
Oh man.
Where it's so for peek behind the curtain, I saw Rob's doppelganger out in the world at a gas station, but he was about 1.5 feet shorter and did not have his long flowing locks. And it was basically like when you go do a character customization on a video game, and then you're just too lazy to actually go in and tweak everything to look like yourself. So you hit custom preset 1. It was like all of Rob with his black beanie, glasses, piercings, big beard. Take that off for a second, swap out a face, and put it all back on like it's a fucking Mr. Potato Head. It was like Rob, but like Rab.
We have Rob at home.
Yeah. Rob from wish.com. But it's oh my God. But I was like, we were talking about it, and I was like, I'm glad. This is gonna sound horrible. Like, you look different. You look nothing like normal people would think. You know, John Everyman over here with his perfect coif, and then there's Rob, where it's like, oh my God, who is this gentleman? Yeah. Where I was like, you have a very individual look. And I'm like, if you were any other way, I'd fucking hate you.
Yeah, I kind of rock my own style. I march to the beat of my own drum. I don't really give a fuck. I think that's really what it comes down to. I wear what's comfortable. I get the comments all the time of, "Are you so and so out in public?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, well, he's tall and has a beard." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. There's like a fuck ton of tall bearded people. Like, just every tall bearded person is Bill Hicks. Like, the fuck are you talking about?" So Grant, Dr. Mendez, and Cindy are now in the booth together, which is soundproof. So no one can hear beyond those walls unless they put the intercoms on. And at this moment, John Mendez just goes, "Here she comes." And Laurel Ann just runs at the fucking window. Mm-hmm. Over and over and over again, smashing her face. Now, I feel like there could have been some training to make this seem a little bit more vicious and violent, but every time she runs, she puts her hands up.
Yeah.
It drove me nuts because I'm like, you don't look like you're hurting yourself at all. You look like you're trying to make it look like you're hurting yourself, but it's just not working. But she does bloody herself up pretty damn well. And it is
splits her face open, swells it up.
Yeah.
And Grant is still talking on the radio saying that our own Laurel Ann is gone.
Yeah.
We will miss you. And it's like, oh, yeah. That's sad.
So
even when he does it for Ken later.
Yeah. We get this long moment while they're in the booth, just trying to like kind of figure out what's going on. The entire time Dr. Mendez is just rambling. Mm-hmm. Just incoherently, but at the same time, he's also piecing everything together. But the chaos that is ensuing within the booth and outside of the booth, something I love about this movie so much is there's so much going on at all times that they have multiple people talking over each other.
Yep.
And so if you're not listening to the background, you're missing things. And I think that's genius because it feeds into the confusion of a virus that's outbreaking that nobody fucking understands, yet they're feeding it to you the entire time.
I picked up on that immediately, hearing like the radio call in about the military showing up and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here again, as it's depicted in my notes, what the fuck is going on in this movie? Because when those things happen, I'm sitting here going, who do I focus on? Why?
Yeah. Laurel Ann shows back up and it seems like she's choking on air. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Mendez is like, I think this is it. This is it. What's going to happen?
I haven't seen this yet.
And she projectilely vomits all over the booth and then falls over and dies.
She dies? Because I swear to God, I can still see her breathing.
Well, she's a bad actress.
Yes, but at the same point, there are plenty of times where you could just sit there and go and just not move. It's not that hard, dude.
There's
Figure it out.
There's plenty of moments that the director had the time to be like, don't put your hands up when you run towards that. We'll make it look better.
Yeah, well,
You know,
he also didn't want to get sued when she inevitably got a concussion and broke through plexiglass.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Or just put clear foam on there. That's what they do. They didn't have the money for it, whatever. But yeah.
This movie takes place in one location.
Yeah,
I don't know if
they built so much tension in one building.
Yeah, I don't know what budget they had, but it was I don't know if it was all spent on location.
Right. Well, the mob now has officially broken into the building. And
I was so happy about this. I was so fucking happy.
It is awesome. They all crowd the sound booth. They all sit down on the ground inside the booth and start writing to each other to communicate because they don't want to risk anything. And that's when they have the idea, oh, what if we play a pre-recorded something outside the building to lure everyone back out there? And so he just continuously says that
Sydney Breyer is still alive.
Because Sydney Breyer doesn't live in Pontypool. She lives in the city. She lives in Ontario proper with her husband and kid. And so this is like we everything in Pontypool is fucked, but we still want to get it out there that she's alive, and this is fine. But it works, and the horde, whatever you want to call it, goes outside.
I think this is also when, or shortly after, when Sydney gets a call, and it is her two kids, and
it's at the moment,
and this is where. Fuck, man. She might have just screwed. I don't know if you caught it, but she might have just completely screwed over the rest of her family because she sits there and goes, "Hi, honey. Hi, sweetie, sweetie, honey, honey, sweetie, sweetie, honey, sweetheart." And it's like, what are you doing, woman? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's when John goes, Stop. Don't do that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Stop with the sweethearts.
That's when he finally figures it out, too, that it's the English language that's infected.
Again. What the fuck is going on in this movie?
It's the understanding is what it comes down to.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, I guess I'm safe because I didn't understand a fucking thing.
Well, we'll jet through this so that we can get to the explanation of what's actually going on. The power in the building goes out. It reboots itself. It starts playing the greatest song ever written, the Canadian national anthem, which in turn ends up just turning around the mob and fucking them. They end up hiding in a different room because they thought they were good to go. Fucking Dr. Mendez dips out. We have no idea what the fuck happens to him. He just jumps out a window.
Which also in Grant's office, we see a little figurine of Joey Ramone. I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
So that was great.
The Sydney and Grant are left to just try and figure shit out themselves. Sydney decides to get wasted very quickly.
Yeah.
She has like 2 drinks in a row and then is just shithoused, which is insane. And starts writing all over the walls, basically like, I'm sorry, this is who I am. This is the life I've led, blah, 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 blah.
We killed a girl because the girl from the Lawrence and the Arabians is still sitting in the fucking studio.
They fucking go ham on her.
Yeah, Sydney and Grant are talking in French because they don't want to do anything. And to me, it was like a moment because I see her. I was expecting it to happen. And then Sydney turns around and breaks and talks in English. And she says, Grant, run now. And then the child goes, Grant, run. It's like, oh, I hate it.
That's perfect. That's when really it's Mendez realizes that, brings it to light that it's the English language that's that's infected. It isn't until Sydney says a word that she starts to slip, and that's when Grant realizes it's when you understand it. It's when you feel the word and you fully understand what it means individually as a person. That's when it takes a hold, and you have to make it not make sense. So you have to disassociate the word. So a kiss. I'm gonna infect I'm gonna infect every listener now. But a kiss now, man, can be many things to many different people. A kiss can be a sign of affection. It can be, this
Not
is
infection, affection.
Affection. This is how I show my love, my respect. And you understand it so deeply that you feel it so deeply, but that's the only thing that you understand. Versus
Could be a little dollop of chocolate.
kiss to a mafia member. You kiss somebody on the cheek before you fucking use a piano wire to fucking cut their head off or fucking shoot them in the back of the head. It can be a sign of, I've turned my back on you. This is me saying, go fuck yourself. But understanding it fully and deeply, you have to find a way to make it not make sense. Where taking two words that aren't connected at all and make them not make sense. Kiss means kill.
Kill means kiss.
Kill means kiss. And so it's at that moment that Grant has kind of cracked the code, and they book it back into the booth. And
after they kiss, of course.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Kiss means kill, or kill means kill. Dude, I'm glad he cracked the code because I fucking didn't.
But he starts broadcasting words, just random words. And Sydney helps him. He gives a word, she gives a different word, just try and make things not make sense. But as this is happening, all we're hearing is helicopters and bombs dropping and machine guns going off and people screaming. And
in French saying, Sydney Brier, are you still alive?
Yep. On top of that, there's also military voices screaming, and we're getting all of this. And Grant finally just snaps and screams, stop everything. Like, stop killing everyone. And it just goes dead silent. And I think it's awesome. Like, everyone's listening to the show in Pontypool. And that's when he puts it out there. He's like, this is what we need to do. And you really start to think.
Out of the silence, we hear the counting backwards in French of 10, 9, 8, all the way down to 1. And then there's a explosion, cut, credits.
Yeah, before that, Grant had screamed that you're just killing scared people. And then he ends the radio broadcast before the countdown by saying, it's not the end of the world, people. It's just the end of the day. As the credits roll, we get the full filler. There are news broadcasts being played from all over the world of everything that happened in Pontypool, and that the Grant and Sydney are missing. We don't know. One broadcast says they were killed, but then the next one we hear says that they are just missing. So we're not entirely sure. We're led to believe that they died. And Pontypool as a whole is fine, but the rest of the world is fucked. There's news broadcasts being said from New York, oh, my grandson started incoherently repeating a word over and over and over again. So it has infected the entire world. And that, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends, is Pontypool from 2008.
Well,
you have no fucking idea what's going on, do you?
No. Again, what? And after there's a post-credit scene of Grant and Sydney just again in black and white, and the color slowly fades in, which is really cool. But they're some weird Bonnie and Clyde, looking, sounding, and then it just ends. So that's the same actors, not the same characters. That is, I kind of figured on that, but at the same point, I'm still sitting here going, "What the fuck is going on?"
It's an epilogue to the next story in the books, in the trilogy of books, which I don't know because I haven't looked into it. I don't know if he made the other two books into movies or not. I think that was his way of being like, "Hey, if Pontypool does well, you got this. I got this to offer y'all." But
I've only heard of Pontypool when you brought it up to have us do for Winter Horrorland.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, I feel like there's enough people in the world that know about it, but it's also not on the forefront of most people's knowledge of horror. And it's not everybody's cup of tea. I am more of, as we discussed at the beginning of this season, the less you show me, the more scary it is. Blair Witch Project. You see fucking nothing. the entire movie. Everything is left to your imagination, and it's the most horrifying thing I've ever witnessed in my life. I still, to this day, as I've already stated, if you're only coming in the fucking tail end of this season, go back and listen to the Blair Witch Project episode. Listen to all the episodes, honestly. But it's terrifying. And this one does the same. They do show us something.
Yep.
But not everything.
Nope. And the horde doesn't really show up until way late in the movie. And that's what I wanted to see. I can't wait for a horde. And then it was like, what the fuck?
I don't like this.
No. Like them walking down the stairs into the goddamn almost recording booth, and they're all just like, they're saying whatever words they're saying, and all you see is just from inside the soundproof booth. It's horrifying. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
So yeah.
But what's our not so funny bloody legend this week, Rob? At first, it was David Howard Thornton as the most animated Art the Clown, and then it was an axe, and then it was the spike that went into Santa Jaws. What's the final bloody legend of our movies?
The final bloody legend of this season, of this Winter Horrorland, I got to give it to the tea kettle, just simply because,
God damn you,
its existence made the eeriest moment in the movie for me.
All right, you know what? That's fair.
Yeah, the tea kettle gets it.
Okay, all right, cool. Now it's a peek behind the curtain, because originally when I was editing Santa Jaws, I made the same exact joke and then said, what are we going to do when it gets to Pontypool? And Rob was like, well, now that you got to cut that out. It's going to spoil the episode. And I was like, fair.
Yeah.
Cut it out. And he's like, it's not going to be something silly because this is a very depressing movie, which it is.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it's a fucking tea kettle.
A tea kettle.
Get fucked.
I mean, I do want to give a shout out to Tony Burgess for managing to translate his own book into a script that works. And yes, it's his book, but the studios always have something to fucking say about what plays out as a script, what plays out as a movie. And he didn't pull any punches. It's the book.
It is your book, but sorry, man, tea kettle.
Yeah, and this is it's amazing. But the tea kettle, fucking Jesus Christ, it's the eeriest moment. Stay tuned, folks. You'll see the moment on TikTok if it still exists by the time I'm able to do that, and if not, you'll see it on our reels. So, enough of that. On a scale of 1 to 10, poorly head slammed against glass moments, how many poorly head slammed against glass moments would you give Pontypool?
I think, let me state at the beginning, I think my rating might go up if I watch it a second time, because the initial watch, I was hoping to maybe, understand something. I was fucking lost. And there were times where I was sitting here, they said it up front, you're not going to know what it means. You're not going to understand it. And I'm sitting here going, oh, okay. And then sure as shit from the get-go, I'm like, fuck, I don't understand a goddamn thing about this. I felt uneasy, and like there were some scenes where it was like, fuck, man, this is really sad. Like sending off to Ken was just heart-wrenching. And it's like, what the fuck? As of right now, it's got a 5 from me.
Oof. That's lower than I was expecting.
Yeah. It's because like I spent most of my time sitting there thinking about what is happening, that I kind of just retreated away from the movie itself. So again, if I go into it knowing I'm not really going to fully understand things and just watch it for what it is, maybe it'll go up. I'm hoping it will, because like there were some honestly uneasy moments in this movie for me.
Oh yeah.
So I'll definitely report back on that.
All right.
But Rob, out of 10 poorly head slammed against a sound booth recording window, what would you give Pontypool?
It's an 8 for me. I really do. Okay. I really do like this movie a lot. It's the glaring moments, like the poorly head slammed against a glass moments, that really just take me out of it, because you're supposed to feel for the fact that Laura Lannon's gone at that moment, and the fact that the infection isn't just, we don't know at that moment, but the infection isn't just words. Like it's trying to like find the understanding within other people, and that's why they're tearing people apart. And so she's trying to get in there, but every time she throws her fucking hands up, I'm like, she's not actually fucking hitting the glass. It's the impact isn't there. pun intended. So yeah,
Boo.
other than that, I really like the movie because it is confusing. It also is terrifying because you see so little. And I also really just enjoy a beautiful narrative. And this is a beautiful, dark, haunting narrative for a
Really
movie.
shows everyone how horrible their imaginations must be. Because depending on what you saw in your brain, dude.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah. All right.
Apparently, I'm just a sucker for some zombies. Aren't we all?
Yeah. Well, let's throw out some thank yous.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Michael, who would you like to thank at our third to last episode?
Well, of course, I would like to thank you, Rob, because I hadn't heard of 2 out of our 4 Winter Horrorland movies. Obviously, we knew Terrifier 3 was coming out.
Yeah.
I've heard of Santa Jaws because I am the original Santa Jaws. Get fucked. But never heard of Pontypool. And I'm pretty sure was dumbfounded the moment you said it. And then I've heard of Creepshow, but never fully knew that there was like a Thing episode that had something to do with Cthulhu.
Yeah.
So it's been a trip. It's been an awesome season. So we'll get more into that after this. But thank you very much, Rob, for continuing to introduce me to new stuff and new films and new horrors. So it's been a absolute blast. I would like to thank my better half because even though it's getting closer to that point, and actually at the time this releases, I will be in Canada in less than a week. Not going to Pontypool.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't going there originally, but fucking definitely not going there now. I wrote a note going, is this what Canada's going to be like?
Yeah.
This is fucking
I'm not
horrifying.
going to understand anything they're saying.
I texted her and she's like, what was the movie about? I was like, well, it's something goes wrong in Canada. She's like, nope, stop. I don't want to ruin Canada. I was like, I'm not gonna, don't worry. So getting to hear me talk about some of these movies, like I have had continuous conversations of like, God damn it, that movie sucked. And she's like, I bet it has, honey. Yes. Okay. So thank you for being my other listening tool for that and just going, oh boy. So yeah, that's who I have to thank. Robert, what about you?
Well, at the top, I'm just going to thank my brother for introducing me and forcing me into watching Pontypool.
Freaking watch it.
I love this movie now, and he doesn't listen to the podcast. He doesn't really listen to podcasts at all, so he'll never hear this thank you. But I want it out there. My brother and I have a really amazing and beautiful relationship where it's a give and take. We trade off movies and music, and it's just he's great. He's a great younger brother, and I'm really glad that I have a blood relative to share music and film with. So thank you to my brother. I will not say his name just to, keep some anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to thank you. You have kicked ass at the editing, and, with your up and down insane schedules that you have between everything that you do, just making the time and making sure that even with what limited time you do have, that the edits aren't shitty. They don't come out, they're not rushed or anything. And, adding levity and some humor into even the editing process that may have been missed in moments of recording. I hate to be that person, but I listen to our own podcast and I laugh at the shit. And it's because it's great to hear a finished product. I mean, musicians do it all the time. So they record an album, then listen to it. And so yeah, thank you. Also just thank you for being a brother. We have no blood relation, but you are my brother. And this has been the coolest fucking journey to be on with you. And knowing that we're about to fucking do a 3rd season is insane.
The fact that we're at the end of 2 is still astonishing to me. Thinking about how long ago we started this season.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy fuck, we're at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I mean, our first season was so bare bones and just like the twinkle of an idea, and going from video live stream to audio and finding a way to translate that well, but also still trying our best to be there. Like, I know we haven't done a live stream in a long time. There will be some coming. We've got some really cool shit lined up for season 3, but
still need to talk about In a Violent Nature with Mr. Cyrene.
Yeah. So you just stay tuned, y'all. Like there's a lot more to come with the live stuff where we're going to be doing that But I also would love to thank my beautiful, amazing fiance for making sure that, I have a space and the time to do this, to watch my movies and just take a break from family life to break away and do this. Not that I need a break, but I do need a break to do this, because could you imagine if I had my family up here with me? It'd be insane. The office would be so noisy. But yeah.
Get out!
I need to thank her. She's just been amazing. And of course, we have to thank our amazing sponsor, an amazing artist, an amazing author, Seamus Belisle. He has and still is hosting our merch, goreclown.com. It is the only place you can find our official merchandise. We have a t-shirt. We have 2 hoodies, pullover and a zip up. We have 2 beanies. We have a dope, super lightweight, super soft trucker hat. They're all there. Make sure to use code SLEEPOVER at checkout. You'll save 15% on your entire purchase. And you don't even have to just buy our stuff. Just go over and support freaking Seamus. His shit's awesome. He has indie horror stuff out the wazoo. He makes some amazing art.
Yep. I was about to say, he's got some tremendous art that's up there as t-shirt designs.
Yeah.
He's supporting Future Fantascope and the movie The Only Ones that's going to be coming out soon. The designs are fucking awesome. The indie horror sticker.
Awesome.
The shirt. Fucking love that
so
shit.
Dope.
Love
so
it.
Dope. So yeah, thank you, Seamus. We've got more to come. We are working on some other really interesting and super fucking weird merch. Jason Michael's got a design that he's brainstorming with Seamus right now. So stay tuned for some not wearable merch. Yeah.
Damn it.
Thank you, everyone. All of you suckers out there, all you ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, for joining us through this freezing cold, horrifying stroll through Winter Horrorland. We hope you enjoyed season 2, our second Winter Horrorland jaunt, if you will. And it is officially the end. Jason Michael, it's the end.
Yeah. That was our final movie episode. But don't fret, Rob, because we're going to start crying next week, because next week's episode, we are, of course, having a wrap up, a nice little talk about what we've talked about during season 2, a long season 2, all the cool stuff. We're going to talk about the rest of our top 10s of our favorite movies / franchises. We're going to rank the Universal monsters. All of this is going to be next week's episode, so don't worry. Still got a few more for you before the end of the full-blown season. So until next week, sleep tight, suckers.
Kisses kill. Kisses kill.
Suckers.
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 Kisses kill.
Suckers. Suckers.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Spoiler Sleepover. But the fun doesn't stop there. Go follow us over on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And of course, check out our sponsor, Gore Clown, and use code SLEEPOVER for 15% off any Spoiler Sleepover merch. So until next time, sleep tight, suckers!
Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Gore Clown Shop.
Do you love all things horror? Books? Movies? Podcasts? Of course you do. Well, come on down to goreclown.com.
Original artwork by an indie horror fan for indie horror fans.
Use code SLEEPOVER at checkout to save 15% on your whole purchase.
Oh, and did we mention? Gore Clown is the only place to get official Spoiler Sleepover merch.
So don't forget to use Sleepover to save 15%.
Stay indie, suckers.